Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of my ride in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with city staff member Paige Anderson. We're going to get right to it by diving into one of their Nieghborways.
Our hillsides that are covered in forest, we call those greenways. So word was already taken.
Yeah.
So we're Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, so we decided we're calling them Nieghborways.
I like it, I like it. And I like that this is Friendship neighborhood.
Yes, I know, it's very small.
How friendly.
I know, I used to live here and I loved it. I got to build this Nieghborway that helped me get to work.
Yeah.
And then I moved. So yeah, here we got some tiny traffic circle. This one is stop controlled.
Yeah.
We had some controversy around just a cultural shift of traffic circles, and we kind of found that people felt safer with the stop signs.
Yeah, yeah.
There's another school that's going to be on our left in a couple blocks.
Okay.
It's a Montessori school. And so that was kind of the onus for going back to the stop signs was the parents walking their kids to school.
Yeah. Well, I will say that first traffic circle that we saw that was yielded controlled, since it was a bigger footprint, it seemed like it was very intuitive. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing the driver behavior there adjusting?
I haven't been at that one recently, but I have heard the chatter sort of die down.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought when we stop controlled this one, thanks, that we would probably end up stop controlling that one too, and we haven't yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, it is a bigger footprint too, so.
Yes.
And that street, as you'll recall, with as parked up as it was a natural yield street too. So.
Yeah, this one has some smaller circles, which of course means that there's a little bit less. It's because the intersections are smaller.
Yeah.
But that means we don't have quite as much diversion to slow down the vehicles.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it hasn't been ripped up by utilities too bad. Up here is something clever that I think I invented, which is a contraflow turn box. And so the idea is this is a staggered intersection. There's 2 on this Nieghborway.
Okay.
And if you see, we wanted to use this little contraflow lane to kind of create this line of sight.
Right.
And help cyclists go through this staggered intersection.
Yeah.
And I think it's been pretty successful.
Okay. Nice. And so we are in a contraflow?
Not now, just that one little bit. That
just
was
that
a one-way.
One little bit.
This is all two-way.
This is two-way, naturally, okay.
This is two-way. We have another traffic circle. This traffic circle intersects with a one-way, so it's a little different.
Okay.
We passed by that school a second ago, and then up on the right is a grocery store. So this has got a lot of great things off it. We don't have a lot of, we don't have a grid in Pittsburgh, and so we don't have a lot of parallel routes.
Right.
But what's cool about this route is it actually is parallel to Penn. So there's all businesses along Penn, and people use this Nieghborway to access them.
Yeah. I love it.
Take the opportunity when we have a parallel route to use it. And it's cool, like the community has been planting in them, in these circles. They always look good. So you'll see, oh wait, I forgot I was gonna take you to asphalt art. Let's go there first.
Okay.
We can't take a left here, so we'll take it the next. There's a little bit more traffic on the Nieghborway because of all the construction on Penn.
Yeah.
So people tend to use it a little bit as a cut through. Oh, here's another school, Waldorf Academy.
So we just passed a quiet residential street one way.
Yep.
Is it legal for us to go contraflow in there?
No,
okay,
it's not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good opportunity.
I know.
Yeah.
We do them a lot, but we try to stick with the bike network. Connections. We don't see a lot of enforcement. I think people do go both ways. We'll take a left here. So actually, I'll stop real quick just to show you. This connection, we have another contraflow turn box situation. And this actually turns into Comrie Way, which is a very narrow alley.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything to traffic calm it because it's so narrow, but we did. That block is brick, but the rest of it was like mountain biking. So the biggest thing we could do is just repave it so cyclists could use it.
Right.
And so that connects all the way into Lawrenceville. And so it's a very, it's not what you know, the guidebooks would say is like an all ages and abilities connection.
Right.
But it gets the job done, and we
Yeah.
see a huge amount of cyclists using it.
Yeah.
So if you want, we could go down that for a little bit, if you'd like to see it. This actually takes me all the way, basically, to my house.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. But we should go see that asphalt art.
Yeah, let's go see the asphalt
It's
art.
very
We'll just get
beautiful.
a shot of this
Yeah,
looking
sure.
down it. So.
And we can actually come back here too, because I am going this way on my way home. So
Okay,
if
all right.
you're welcome to tag along.
Yeah, I'm staying down by Union Station, so.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be. It ends as an official connection, and then it's still like an alley that a lot of people use.
Yeah.
It's technically a one-way at certain blocks, but we do see cyclists using it bi-directionally,
Yeah.
and that's fine with me.
Yeah.
We're off the bike network right now, but this is a pretty quiet street. We're gonna cross Friendship. It can be a little fast, so make sure we find a good gap. All right, we're clear. Nice.
So we're in early summer, early June here. We're on a Saturday. Basically, late afternoon, early evening on a Saturday. We're just kind of cruising around and everything. We're not seeing a whole lot of people riding. What's it like on a Monday through Friday? You know, kids getting to school and parents, you know, also getting to work and all
Yeah.
that. Are we seeing some uptick in folks
Yeah.
you know, getting around by bike and walking? And
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we'll take a left here. This neighborhood is a very quiet neighborhood. It's kind of between a bunch of the hustle bustle, some other neighborhoods, so
Yeah.
it's always going to be quiet. I have heard that school we passed by with near the traffic circles, the Montessori school, is our Safe Routes to Schools coordinator told me they have more parents biking to that school than any other school in the city.
wow,
And
great.
so I think partially because it is a quiet neighborhood, it's not, you know, easy or efficient to drive.
Yeah,
But yeah, we've definitely seen an uptick. I think 2020 was a bit of a turning point
yeah,
in the city. I think everyone learned how to ride a bike that year.
yeah.
And we
Gee,
haven't
I
really
wonder
gone
why.
back. Yeah, and we haven't really gone back,
Yeah.
which is great to see.
Is that when you came back to the city?
No, came back to the city in, 2017.
Okay.
So I went to Pitt for school. I moved away for a couple of years to Seattle.
Yeah.
Got to see what was possible.
Yeah.
And then
Also
came
a
back.
hilly city.
Yeah, it is a hilly city. I
Yeah.
wasn't as much of a cyclist then. It was kind
Yeah.
of a missed opportunity. But
Yeah.
very like commuter friendly
Yeah.
city if you can handle the hills.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back in Friendship now.
Okay.
One
back
of my favorite
in Friendship.
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And we'll get to this asphalt art that we're coming to. It's called Balm Grove, is the name of the park. And it's kind of like one of the main like entry points into the Friendship neighborhood.
Okay.
So the Friendship Community Group is very precious about it, you know, really appreciates this park, but it is a very chaotic, I think 5-way, 6-way,
Yeah.
maybe just 5-way, but a very chaotic intersection.
Yeah.
And so this was the first artistic intersection that I got to work on, and I just designed the outlines.
Yeah.
But it was a very complicated intersection to design for.
Yeah.
And then the community group came in and got a grant from the Bloomberg Foundation.
Oh, I see it already. Look
install.
at that. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
another one of the Bloomberg Foundation.
Yeah, so you can see
asphalt art.
5-way intersection.
Oh, sweet.
A lot going on.
You know what we have to do here?
Get your drone.
Yeah. Well,
out.
we have to set up right here in the middle of it,
Okay.
and we have to put the camera up.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Woohoo!
I think that nub over here was a little ambitious.
Yeah. Just
We-
just
trying
a
to slow it
little-
down as much as possible, but
Yeah,
those flex posts didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
And so now it's kind of gotten pushed back, but I still think, you know, it's a lot better than it'd been before we did anything.
And one would, you know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, with trying. And if you had put something a little bit more solid in there, like, you know, like a concrete planter, you know, planting, you know,
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe
I
they
think-
would have gotten used to it, but
Maybe,
you
but I
know.
think the fire trucks would have had a problem with that.
maybe.
There's a
Maybe,
pretty big group you'll
yeah.
probably see. coming up this way, and
Yeah.
it's like if people squiggle over, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we don't always want to, we want to do maintenance, but sometimes
Yeah.
we don't want to, you know, put something in that we know doesn't stand much of a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to see like what an improvement there was from before.
Yeah.
And the community did a great job with the art.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the implementation of this, you know, when it went in. Talk about the community engagement and, you know, that whole process. What was that like, you know? And how did the community respond to throwing down some cool flowers in the neighborhood?
Yeah, so this is actually the community's idea.
Yep.
We knew that this intersection needed some love, and that it was a little chaotic, but it wasn't, you know, we weren't really sure what to do about it.
Yeah.
This was like I think it was like 2018 or 19 that people started talking about this. So the COVID pandemic definitely kind of set us back a little bit in working with the community on this. They had gotten a grant that they'd gone after themselves, and so we thought, okay, we don't have an asphalt art policy, but we should probably start thinking about what that looks like for us. What we decided is that, you know, there's certain standards that we hold. You'll see that we keep the contrast high for the crosswalks, and they go all the way through the asphalt art, so that way low vision people are not negatively impacted by the asphalt art. Yeah. So that was an example of something we were trying to figure out, and we decided our standard at this intersection. And then we came up, I was doing more design work at the time, and I think I came up with three or four like configurations of what these bump outs could look like. Ran the auto turn for the fire trucks and school buses that come through here, and let the community decide, you know, which one worked best for them. Yeah. We painted the double white borders and put in the flex posts, and then let the community do their thing.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they hired an artist for this who has some experience doing some of this, which is great because we weren't really sure about what kind of materials to recommend. So she came in with that knowledge, and this was kind of our pilot. And it went great. I think, you know, this has been in for, I think this probably came in 2020 or 2021. Right. So I think it looks pretty good for how long it's been here.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. And
And as you mentioned earlier, as we were rolling up, you were able to get a small grant from the Bloomberg Foundation with the Asphalt Art program. We'll be sure to include a link in the video description below about that program and all of that. Because it's one of the great things about something like this, and I like to remind cities too that, you know, this could be an interim step to future depaving and, you know, and creating a rain garden in these areas. And so we might have painted flowers now, but sometime in the future, who knows, we might have the opportunity to plant some real flowers.
Yeah, I think this community would be supportive of that. And I'll elaborate too, the community was the one that actually applied for that grant and managed it. Right. We don't usually manage our artistic intersection or asphalt art in our own program. We'll just, if someone else, you know, is applying for it, sometimes we'll help out with the borders.
Got it.
But it was
and
great
as you
to
said,
see
now you have like an asphalt art guidance.
Yes.
So is there an opportunity now to formalize for neighborhoods based on that that guidance and that design guide for them to, is there like a program that they can, you know, say, hey, we want one too?
Yeah, it's usually if they're taking the initiative, they have the funding, they have you know, they can come up with plans. Now we have kind of guidance to approve them. Because what we learned is that while this might not be the easiest thing for us to manage another program, but if the community's been asking for these and they're going to continue, so we had to find, you know, the easiest way to say yes. Because we'd love to see more of it, but not without, you know, a huge burden to our staff. Yeah. But yeah, it's been great to see how much work the community's done. There's a couple examples in the north side. A couple bump outs over by Friendship Park. There's a couple like nearby that the community has kind of taken the lead on. Yeah, yeah. So I love to be able to empower them to do that. We try to guide them towards places that we want to put in bump outs anyways for safety concerns. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, you know, we have to tell them the unfortunate news that maybe the spot they're looking for isn't actually a place where there's any natural place to put a bump out, if
Sure.
there's no parking lanes and things. So sometimes but now when I'm designing intersections like the one we saw earlier, I kind of think, okay, like maybe poke the advocacy groups and say, this one would be a really good one. If you're talking to the
Wink,
community
wink,
groups.
hint, hint.
Yeah, this would be a good one. I already did the outline, so you won't have to wait. You won't have to deal with like the waiting period. I think this community, I remember with COVID, they got delayed and they were a little frustrated how long it was taking us to design it.
Yeah.
But it's because at the time we had 2 designers.
Right.
So it was hard to make time. So now it's great when I kind of keep this in mind because I know that it's so popular when we are able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just loved seeing too, I think if you go on there, if you Google this intersection, the community group, and maybe it's on the Bloomberg website, has some really great footage of the whole community coming together to paint this together.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to see.
I love it.
Friendship's a very idyllic neighborhood.
This is very, very cool.
And actually this is very on the edge over here. That's like some of our busiest roads in the city, and that's actually a grocery store right behind us.
Fantastic.
So this is a pretty high pedestrian, high cyclist area. That connection to the busway I was mentioning, right over a couple blocks that way.
Yeah.
So,
and we do have, a little pocket park right here, the Balm Grove. Yeah, so that's a part of this too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's getting a little more use now that this intersection's not quite.
It's noisy and crazy and loud and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this just brings the temperature down, just kind of calms that traffic a little bit.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Also, another fun thing we got out of it was we were able to move this stop sign all the way up. So things like that wouldn't have been possible.
Yes.
That stop sign was all the way back
there.
Yeah. And people were creeping up, and it was just creating a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
I think it's still, maybe a confusing intersection for some of the cars driving through, but in a way where it encourages them to slow down.
Yeah.
Just look around, just stop.
Yeah.
And I haven't really been keeping an eye on the crash out here, but it seems like anecdotally people are feeling a lot safer.
Yeah.
Cool. You can see too, I'm noticing they actually repaved, but they repaved around it, so they didn't have to mess up the art.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They get creative.
They did indeed.
Here they started to paint through the crosswalk, and we said, no. You can't paint through the crosswalk.
Oh, right.
I'm worried about the low vision people.
Right.
So we had them go back and black it out.
Yeah.
But
got it.
I know it doesn't look as, they wanted to do it all the way through, but I think they understood when we said it's for low vision people. We got to get them to the ADA ramps safely. And I think that's been the big controversy about like asphalt art. One of them is just how to.
Yeah. And I suppose getting, engaging some low vision folks in that process to figure out what can still be artistic as well as meet the needs.
Yeah. And unfortunately, with these quick build projects, things like ADA ramps that, they seem like they'd be easier, but they're unfortunately pretty expensive. They could be $5,000 a piece to move.
Right.
And so an intersection like that would explode the budget. So when we had a landscape architect, I think with the Bloomfield Foundation, did the first draft, and we had to push back and say, like, it's not about, I'm not worried about like car capacity here. We're just worried about the low vision.
Right.
There's a lot of older folks that live here. And I know there's been another controversy has been, it can be a little bit slippery.
Sure.
Just like new thermoplastic, which is the material we use for crosswalks.
Sure.
When it's brand new, it can be a little slippery.
Right.
I think over time it's improved.
Yeah.
They try to use like higher friction treatment, but it's never as high friction as you want it to be.
As you want it to be.
Yeah. So there's always like some trade-offs and growing pains, but over time everything gets a little bit grittier and easier to walk on.
Yeah. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm glad you're
fantastic.
here. What a fun adventure that you're on.
Yeah. Any final thoughts that you'd like to leave the audience with in terms of just guidance and like pearls of wisdom from the last few years of being here in the trenches, trying to make this happen? Cities are tuning in from all around the globe.
That's cool to hear. Well, yeah. When I was, like I said last week, I was at the NACTO conference. It's very reassuring reassuring in a way to know that we're all dealing with a lot of the same pushback. It's hard not to take these things personally sometimes when you believe in this work so much, but I think, I've been here 8 years now, and we've seen so much slow progress, and I think, patience is a virtue, trying to just stay steadfast, but picking your battles at the same time, because I do think we're seeing the momentum start to carry in Pittsburgh. I think when I started 8 years ago, it felt like bike lanes were the boogeyman at some of these community meetings. And now our mayor's office told us that the #1 most requested thing at the mayor's office level is our speed hump program and traffic calming generally.
Yeah,
and so I think,
you
know, the work speaks for itself. So it's just about, you know, doing your best to get it in. I think Quick Build's been great for us, allowing us to learn and iterate. And this part of town is really, especially kind of shows just how much it can all come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of traffic calming, since you mentioned that, and we saw plenty of the speed humps and all of that, we saw the traffic calmings, traffic circles, a small footprint. Have you, and obviously we've got our intersection bulb outs and all that. Are you also implementing some chicanes as traffic calming as well?
Yeah, we've installed a couple chicanes. There's a road called Terman Ave up in Brighton Heights that we tried our first ever chicanes, and we used planters, large planters on them, and they've been pretty successful. So this year, that was actually chosen as one of our priority hardscaping projects to go back and upgrade them, because that community has been super supportive of them. So yeah, that was really good to see. We'll probably use more, especially because, as you saw on the Stanton project, sometimes to make these constrained projects work, we will switch the parking from side to side to work with the parking.
That creates almost like a cheap, you know, chicane kind of effect.
We have very topsy-turvy roads though, so there's not, sometimes, you know, we try to use chicanes in a creative way, and sometimes they naturally are happening.
Exactly.
So chicanes have been a new one. If you want, I could point you to two. We did our first ever like pinch point chokers last year. We installed our first ever diverters last year. So every year we're trying 1 or 2 new things.
That's a really good. That's a really good thing that you pointed out. Is, you know, the chokers and trying these you know, sort of experimental, sort of creative things. You know, not, in other words, not being afraid to try something creative. Even if it's like a big, huge intersection of asphalt art.
And sometimes, you know, with things like diverters, I tried to get my first diverter in when we did the Bluefield Friendship Neighborway in 2020, and the community was not receptive to it. And, you know, we had to learn that this wasn't maybe the battle to fight and keep it in our back pocket. And then 4 years later, we found a perfect location to install our first ones. I'm glad we were patient with that, because the first one is the hardest, and you really want the first location to prove it. You know, people might say, we don't have those in Pittsburgh, so why? You really want to have the right location, so that way you can point to it and say, next time you want to do it, be like, just go over there to that one, that diverter on Penn.
Or even better, you know, have a community going, wait, that community over there got a diverter. We'd love to have a modal filter and really make this, you know, Nieghborway a very calm and inviting environment, because that's the other thing that, you know, we can really help the cause of these slow streets, low volume streets, is we can bring that volume down even more by having that diversion.
And sometimes, you know, it's the right spot, and now that we've got some in, you know, we do have that. We've got communities asking for it. We don't have a lot of, it's tough to find the right location when you don't have a grid like we have. But I can actually point you to those, because you'll pass right by them on your way into town. So I'm glad that we were patient there. I think it paid off to do it right, even though I would have loved to have gotten a diverter in 2020. But every year we're trying a few new things. I think like this year we're going to install our first raised intersection.
Excellent.
So that's on the docket. So every, you know, a few years ago we were doing our first ever protected intersections with just flex posts, and now you can see we've installed some with concrete. So the momentum feels slow in the moment, but then you start realizing how quickly it's building. And I'm hoping we can just keep getting the funding that we need, so that way we can keep building on this momentum.
And I think that's a good lesson for, you know, cities around the globe, is that once you get a little bit of momentum and you get the communities starting to ask for these types of treatments, then it can be, okay, we're hearing you loud and clear, now we need to come up with a funding mechanism to be able to do this. Are we going to try to pull from existing budgets, or are we going to put this out to, you know, a bond or sales increase? You know, the money's got to come from somewhere. And so, you know, in the city of Austin, they put it in front of the voters as a bond package, and so the voters voted for the money the capital dollars to fund it over the next,
I heard about that.
5 to 6
That's
years.
a lot of money. We
Yes.
could use that over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I saw that.
and the lesson to that was 20 years worth of work of the advocates and the city working in partnership with other partnership organizations to spread the word and enhance and increase the awareness of the community so that they knew what they were voting for when they said, yeah, we want to increase our property taxes to be able to fund some Vision Zero implementation, some walkable and bikeable infrastructure. And so
that's so cool to see.
That's exactly what we want to be able to do is parlay and take advantage of some of this momentum and excitement, inspiration, that the communities have.
Yeah, and it's been great too. Yeah, when the communities ask for it, that really makes our job easier. Just because there's inevitably gonna be pushback.
Oh, there always is.
There's always is.
Yeah,
and so having someone to point to say, they're like, no one wants this. So like, actually, someone asked for it. It's not always just coming from us. And then similarly, having strong leadership politically.
Yes.
Our mayor has been very supportive of our Vision Zero work. So pointing and saying, like, listen, it's not us, the engineers.
Yeah.
It's the community group and it's the mayor leading this effort. And we've seen a lot of success. There's we got some crash data out recently that's showing the past couple of years we've seen a 30% reduction in crashes in the city.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we're responsible for all of that, but part of it is definitely we can attribute to the investments we've been making.
When you can sort of calm down the zeitgeist of what it means to even be a driver in the city, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm driving, but I'm going to anticipate that I'm going to see this asphalt art intersection, and I'm going to see these traffic circles, and I'm going to see these protected bike lanes. As a driver, you're like, oh yeah, no, it's just intuitive. I drive slower now than I did 10 years ago.
Yep.
Because design really does influence behavior.
It's Friendship Park. Sometimes this place feels like the center of the world.
Yeah. Very cool. Hey.
Oh, they're turning. This is one of our big hospitals, West Penn. A lot of hospitals in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So what was happening at this intersection is people were, and they still are unfortunately, but people were parking in it. Right at this crossing from the park.
Okay.
And so this was one of the community groups.
Yeah.
Artistic efforts that we permitted and supported.
Right.
But they made happen.
They made happen.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we'll just spin around, but here's another one.
Yeah.
I think we maybe got some flex posts on here because you can see they've gotten a little rundown from all the parking.
Very cool.
Kind of on theme with the other one.
Yeah.
Nature.
But still, the point is you're sending that message to the motorist, don't park here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are very bold. We have some pretty bad parking culture in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's probably my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Is all the sidewalk parking and the bike lane parking, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. We just got our first automated bike lane enforcement in a couple pilot locations.
Oh, okay.
So that's got me very excited.
Interesting. And how's the automation working?
So it sends a ticket by mail.
Okay. And who's doing the, what's the automation on? Is it on a bus?
No, it's on cameras that are mounted.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So cameras looking up the street, down the bike lanes, got it.
Yep.
So one of the cities has got, I can't remember which city it is, maybe LA. They've got cameras on the buses.
Oh,
and so as the
that.
bus is rolling along, if they see somebody parked in a bike lane,
I love that.
Automated ticket in that fashion.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah. I'll have to double check on that. I think it is Los Angeles.
That's great. Yeah, we have the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is a little old school and has been slow to kind of allow some of these things. But luckily we have Philly, which is of course a class 1 city, much bigger, and they have a little more power because of that. So they will often try things and then we'll try to use that as leverage to get it in Pittsburgh too.
Right. Yep.
So in a couple of blocks we'll take a left, and this is kind of, it's actually the same road that the Nieghborways on, but the Nieghborway ends. So it's kind of the informal Nieghborway.
Yeah.
and then I'll point you to the diverters.
Okay, cool.
Another hospital. That's the Children's Hospital up ahead. I think that's where a lot of our parking and traffic comes from. All right, we'll take a left at this one way here.
And I love this use of the alleyways for some of these. This is a brilliant strategy.
Yeah, a lot of people walk and bike on these alleys already. So the tricky part is the intersections.
Yes, no, absolutely. Just like any other neighborway or bikeway, it's always the intersections, but just the fact that for cities that have alleys, folks, activate them.
Yep.
You know? Yes, they're not, in general, they're not the most beautiful places, but you can always, you know, add some lipstick to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, you know, we're beautiful in our own way.
Yeah.
See, but then the alleys have the worst sight lines.
Yeah.
So I feel like this isn't even a bad one, but this is a very stressful crossing. And that's part of the reason we haven't figured out how to extend the Nieghborway here.
Right.
Because we don't really feel great about endorsing this crossing.
Right.
Even though it's kind of necessary to get where you're going.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find that balance.
Yeah, no, totally.
You don't want to lead someone into an unsafe situation.
Right. And, you know, honestly, the reality is so many of these cities are nowhere near as busy traffic-wise as their, you know, the purported reputation is.
It's true.
And so, other than a couple hours a day, you can probably roll through these things without too much trouble.
Okay, we're gonna cut on this sidewalk. Here's a fun one where we looked into this, and I don't even know if they even got a permit to do this, but this just happened some point in history.
It. This is so freaking cool.
I know, and the community, they do such a good job of landscaping.
Yeah.
I wish it was wider, but
yeah,
there's this beautiful mural someone painted.
Yeah.
All right.
Get over here so we can see that mural a little bit.
And here's the diverter.
Oh, yes.
So this is a quick fill diverter.
Yes.
It's
we
used some leftover concrete curves from a bike lane project. You can see they've got some damage. I'm sure people are finding a way.
Yeah.
But this whole project cost us.
Here it is. Boom.
So, you know, we didn't make it for bikes, but I think that's fine by me.
Yeah.
This is a area that had an absurd amount of angle crashes.
Right.
Like it just blew up on the map. And so we knew that what was happening. You know, we talked to this notary here, and he was like, you wouldn't believe, like every night.
Yeah.
So Google Maps was actually just routing people as a cut through to avoid those signals on either side.
Right. Yeah.
And so people were, but the sight lines are horrible.
Yeah.
It's a very, very high pedestrian area. But yeah, we spent less than $20K on this entire project. We designed it in-house, installed it almost entirely in-house.
Yeah.
And used some leftover bike. You guys go ahead.
Yeah.
Leftover, you know, bike lane protection.
Yeah.
Just whatever we had laying around to make it work. But it's been super well received. And, you know, we saw a lot of people trying to cut through with their cars initially, but we've seen compliance like steadily improve over time. I think as people just get it in their mental map.
Yeah.
But it's been great.
I love it. This is so cool.
And there's another one 2 blocks down.
Yeah, I saw
so
it
those
on
were
my
our
ride
first 2.
up to the coffee shop. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yay, so
nice
cool.
Meeting you.
Yes,
Thanks, John.
right up here. Boom. Yes, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks for coming.
You bet.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this on-bike interview with Paige Anderson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And if you did, please, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and share it with a friend. And if you haven't done so already, I'd be honored to have you subscribe to the channel. Just click on that subscription button down below and ring that notifications bell. And if you're enjoying this content here on the Active Towns channel, please consider supporting my efforts by becoming an Active Towns ambassador. Hey, it's super easy to do. Just click on the join button right here in YouTube or navigate navigate over to activetowns.org, click on the support tab at the top of the page, and there's several different options, including becoming an Active Towns Patreon supporter. Patrons do get early and ad-free access to all this video content. And with that said, I really do need to send a special thank you to all my Active Towns ambassadors supporting the channel financially, again via Patreon, YouTube Super Thanks, YouTube memberships, as well as Buy Me a Coffee and making donations to the nonprofit. Again, I simply could not produce this content without your support. Advertising revenue just doesn't bring in that much money here on YouTube. So again, every little bit adds up and is very much appreciated. And up next in stop number 4 in the Active Towns Amtrak Tour is the city of Providence, Rhode Island. So stay tuned for that. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, this is John signing off by wishing you much activity, health, and happiness. Cheers.